Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time On Target Morning Brief. We have a great show for you today. First of all, we're going to take a look at Luckin and what's going on, why the stock is off 40%. The only headline I see is something that was already kind of a known that they were going to restructure their debt through the Caymans, and I don't know. Stock's getting hit hard. Dropped from mid almost 13 down to 7 this morning. It has bounced off of that, so we'll see where that goes. But our topic of the day today, so that's kind of a sideshow for what we're really going to talk about today, and that's investing in the vaccine and the vaccine names that are out there. So when you're thinking, Pfizer, BioNTech, AstraZeneca, we have JNJ coming out with the one jab, and the different variants that are out there, as well as far as the strains and how we're combating that. Because really, when you look at where is the overall market going, it's all based on the success of these vaccines, which in turn is opening up the economy. And lastly, for our topic of the day, we'll talk about another IRS tax form as we all get ready to kind of get into tax season. If you're catching us on a replay, thanks for subscribing. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And if you want to join us in the room, there's a Q&A window and a chat window, which you don't see. Here is how people communicate to me. You can ask anything you want. It's $25 a month. Come on out if you are interested. With that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to today, February 5th, Friday morning. Here's our card for the day. Make sure you have your chat window and your Q&A windows open and your call sign selected. As far as our disclaimer, standard disclaimer applies as a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything you hear in this presentation this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, our mission and objectives today: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Specifically, how do you continue, if you're not in it already, to focus on the vaccine companies? Obviously, they're getting a lot of money from the U.S. government. Sometimes it's a challenge for them to make money. However, they're getting money dumped on them right now, and you do have to let your dollars flow where the other dollars are going out there. So we'll peel back the 6 names that you see down here below. 5 of those are individual names, all of which have some vaccine exposure. And then, of course, FBT is an index fund there at the end. Our flow today will be long, short, open, short, long. We'll take a look at the market reviews around the world, in the green here in the U.S. nicely. We'll take a look at the headline review, including the jobs number. We'll get into both long-term and short-term execution. Then we will execute the market open. We'll get on into the question of the day. If you have a question, pop it in the Q&A. Literally, you can ask me anything. All right, contingencies and academic support are standard. All right, let's take a look at TD Ameritrade now. We're going to look at the S&P 500, kind of see where we've been. Another beautiful day yesterday, right? So you really look at last Friday, we had the big 2% move down, which was, significant. We had kind of Wall Street bets going on last week. We had restricted trading in stocks. A lot of people were a little leery to hold things through the weekend. So that's why you saw this big sell-off. Bounced back basically 4 straight days this week. So as you look at zoom in on the S&P 500. So going into today, straight line up all week long. And is that going to continue today? I really don't see any reason why it's not. There's progress on stimulus. Looks like we'll be hitting votes soon. So really, it looks like things are kind of clipping right along for the market this week. And I don't see any reason why we wouldn't close strong today. All right. Here's our charts for the day trading portion. We will come back to that with what we're going to do here in a minute. All right, let's go to the headlines at CNBC.com. You can see right now that, refresh these for you, you can see that we are up basically 0.5%, except for tech's up 0.25%. the disappointing jobs reported, barely disappointing. We just barely missed that, but we'll come back to that here in a minute. Europe not moving much, and they're mixed. Japan up a big. China's down a little bit, but overall not too bad. Here's our numbers from yesterday. Again, percent plus across the board, so pretty strong overall. So again, I talked to my Goldman rep, and I was talking about this last night at an event I was at. Again, they're calling 14% up this year. That will be on the backs of stimulus and infrastructure all the way. So similar to the things I've been saying, that the vaccines will work and the economy will open back up, and the real headwind of taxation is going to probably slide to 2022 because Democrats don't want to look bad by trying to raise taxes right away. I don't know. I'm not sure if it'll be all the way to 2022, but I think it's certainly around football season before we start talking about taxes out there. Is my take. All right, oil been nice and stable lately. Not much of anything to talk about there. Nice bounce in the precious metals. And then over to crypto. Again, where's Bitcoin? There we go. Go look at it in the right place now. 38,000. So you remember it touched 40 last time and then went right back to 31. Again, I think you're just going to see a slow increase in Bitcoin over time. It's kind of out of the news, though, lately. Okay, let's look at the headlines for the day. So unemployment falling to 6.3%. Pretty darn good, right? Still in the middle of a pandemic. So that's why I think the market is not all that upset about barely missing. We added 49,000 jobs. We expected to add 50,000. Come on, man. That's pretty close. So we shall see. All right. They're starting to peel back some of the trades within GameStop mania, and you knew GameStop. I think I said misspoke there, but yeah, you kind of knew that the hedge funds were going to hop in this too. I chose to stay on the sidelines. I did not participate, but a lot of the big names out there, when these things obviously got traction, and you had the flash mob investing going on, hedge funds are hopping in with big money too. So what I think we will see as people start to peel this back is that it wasn't necessarily, I'm probably not even the majority of the trading during the big moves were Wall Street bets money, meaning retail money. I bet you there are some hedge funds that were hopping in pretty big, taking the ride on the momentum trading, which is all that was, momentum up and then down during that time. So it'll be interesting to see, but I bet you we find out that that is true. All right, we talked COVID relief. I think we're going to see a bill sooner than later. We'll see. They're talking about adjusting down the income requirements to get the $1,400 stimulus check. So we'll see how it all works out. Chamath, and I looked up how to pronounce this. Still can't make it. But he is the former hedge fund guy that's actually running for governor of California if the dude out there gets recalled, which there's 2.1 million signatures on the recall notice for the California for Gavin Newsom, the California governor. That would be a big deal if their governor gets recalled and this guy ends up taking over, mid-election cycle. That would be very interesting. But a lot of negative press this morning out of Clover Health. If you remember yesterday, it was one of our shorts out of that nasty short report that came out. Peloton, also one of the shorts we're taking a look at today. Let me hit those in the room here again real quick. So Peloton on the news, if the economy opens up, Peloton's going to get a hit, is the theory there. All right, GameStop is one of our Robinhood longs, Wall Street bet longs, is because both Robinhood removed all restrictions this morning. So you are back full up with going crazy with the Cheese Whiz. On Robinhood, no restrictions. So they're not going under, they're not going bankrupt. They were on their knees last week. They're back. But now with you are not restricted to the amount of number of shares you can buy, there is an expectation today that both GameStop and AMC are going to climb because people think that this is continuing now. And, in May, I don't think it will. But I think it could today because people are kind of released back out. So we'll keep an eye on both GameStop, and AMC long. Okay, AstraZeneca is one of the names we will look at today. Facebook, 17 years old. That's kind of crazy. No problem with putting your money into Facebook stock. All right, let's take a look over now at the names. Let's look at Pfizer first. That's probably the biggest problem name that's out there. So you would think, okay, Pfizer during a pandemic when they had the Operation Warp Speed, so you have a bunch of money flows into Pfizer and BioNTech, again, the German firm, together for this joint venture. The stock's literally been crushed. When you look at where it was, so it ran up to 41, down to 34. That's not an end of the world type sell off. If you look at the numbers, the stock actually looks pretty cheap, pays a nice big juicy dividend. So what's going on there? It's kind of I wonder, are they making any money out of all this? So if they're getting money thrown at them, how much are they actually keeping and paying out to their shareholders, other than the dividend? So they have to make 4.47% just to break even, because they're paying that out to shareholders. And then what's the upside there? When you look at their partner in this, which is the next one, BioNTech, it's a very different chart, right? So you did have a sell-off, but it's climbing back up. And then when you look at their return type numbers, you're looking at 35, 44, 1-year return, 300%. So a lot more upside that's been in the BioNTech name. When you look at the next one, Moderna, that's a lot of people are familiar with that. Pretty good looking chart. So ran up big right into the right after the election, kind of sold off, and then is coming back strong. I don't think there's any way you could buy into Moderna here. It does have an attractive forward PE of 14, but look at the move it's made. 764% in the past year. It's like, I think you have to let that one go. All right, the next name we'll take a look at is what the one we just saw was AstraZeneca. So obviously this looks like a house of pain. So is it a good time to invest in this one? And I would say yes. If I was going to take a stab at an individual name, Pfizer's too problematic and they have a lot going on. So take a pass on Pfizer. BioNTech and Moderna have both kind of raged higher, so I'm really not interested in touching them. But if the story's coming out of AstraZeneca and their how well they're doing versus the different strains that are out there, if that's true, then all this congestion you're going to see here, where it was between 48 and about 52-ish, that'll baseline and the stock will go higher. So I think out of all of when you look at where it's been, the valuation, what it has going on, this is your best bet if you're going into an individual name in this space. Last one we'll take a look at as far as individual names is JNJ. It's kind of impure. JNJ came out with the one stab thing, and they're going to be able to mass fund it or mass produce it and all that, which they can because they're a pretty big firm, but getting killed with ads this morning. But J&J also has a lot of other stuff going on. They're not a one-trick pony like these other companies tend to be, all focused on the vaccine. J&J is obviously making shampoo and all kinds of other things out there. So kind of an impure play, a lot of red over here on the side. So not really interested in J&J. So AstraZeneca, I think is fine. If you want to just own it all, this is the way to go. FBT, it's an index fund for biotech. You can own this one. You could also own IBB, but I like FBT a little bit better because a lot of folks haven't heard that. So money's kind of flowing out of IBB into this one. Decent performance. It was back here in July. It was about the same level we're seeing now.
We made USAA Bank for today's
that would be
needs.
the index
With a
fund
secure app and a convenient digital wallet, your card helps you bank the way you want.
There we go. Kill it off. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Schwab real quick before we get to the open. So here are the 6 names we just talked about, again, with their appropriate charts. FBT and AstraZeneca, I think, are your best ways to go. All right, as far as the longs, let's look at GameStop real quick, see where it's at. 53 up to 56, what's that, 8% or so? Let's see if it's over here on the list. Okay, 5.6%. AMC is up 4.3%. So those, I think they've fallen so hard that there are going to be people buying them and or covering them today. All right, as far as other longs we have out there, Pinterest beat earnings, as you can see, it was gapping up from 77 to 86. That's almost 10%, or excuse me, 8.5% is the print that we have here. Again, think that has potential to go higher. On the other side of the equation is Snap, which is my top short for today, which is short for Snapchat, is They were up at 58 up here, went all the way down to 54.75 is where they're sitting at right now. There's some new, there it is, the new privacy changes is going to hurt the ad business there. So if you know, iOS 14 brought some interesting things to the iPhone. Apple's talking more and more about protecting your privacy. All of that is affecting advertising with Snap. So again, that'll be the top short for today. All right, let's take a look at Think Pipes and get set up for our day trade. So CureVac is a name that we talked about long. We didn't talk about it. There are some variants out there as far as the COVID strains. So CureVac will be a long that we'll take a look at. We will also take a look at Pinterest long. And then we'll take a look at Snap short, which is pushing back kind of pretty hard here. All right, give me a second to get set up. All right, welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief play of the day. We have 5 seconds to the market open, so we'll let that happen. There we go. We have 4 screens in front of you. We have the 1 minute in the SPY. Again, the futures are higher. We have a long pulled up for CureVac for some variant strains of COVID that are out there. It's up 5%, does not appear, well, I guess it's open there. We also have Pinterest, which is up 9% or so at the open. And then Snap was our short due to the ad policies here. So we need to take a hard look at this because that moved really quite a bit. This is a $5 move in a short, which is a little more than short covering. So I don't really think I can support going short in Snap. Peloton was another short we looked at. Again, back this chart out just a little bit. So here's the big move down from 157. Look at Pinterest dropping like a rock. We have 157 all the way down to bottoming out 143 and then up to 148 or so. Don't necessarily care for that, but we'll leave that up there. This CureVac's not moving, so we'll get rid of that. GameStop, we were looking at long. So I think you're going to see some folks piling into this name. And then Pinterest is a long. We're going to get rid of Pinterest there and see what AM's going on in AMC. I'd expect a similar move. Ooh, not as much in AMC. And remember, AMC actually has some real value. So let's look at the AMC situation here. I want to back this out just a little bit to see where it was. Okay, it was up at 870. We can get in here with a 10 cent stop or so. It's only up 3.5. So it's not moving nearly as much. Get back on a 1 chart. All right, if we take this long to cover the low of the day, that is going to be difficult. Don't particularly care for that action there either. Let's take a look at another name I had pulled up. As GoPro was selling off. They missed earnings last night, so selling off kind of hard here. 960 down to 9. That's kind of moved already too far to be able to get in on. We'll take a look at Luckin. Again, was off 40-some% earlier, off 15% now. So falling like a rock here at the open. So thought it would hold 7 because there was significant resistance there. It looks like a buyer came in, but it's through that. I do expect Luckin to bottom and go back higher at some point today, but we shall see. All right, GameStop selling off hard, AMC selling off hard, so you can't really take those long now. All right, what else do we have? We might be out of opportunities this morning. Go back to CVAC. Long, just not enough volume going on in CureVac. So, all right, let's look at the other. I'm looking at a different screen now. See if we can find something else in play. Nope, nothing on the big screen. Check out the shorts now that the market's open. Unity Software, we'll check that out and get rid of Luckin because I don't want to look at it anymore. Unity Software, just not enough volume in that name. They missed earnings. Okay. No, looks like no trades today. I don't like the entry into any of these, and the AMC and GameStop are pretty well busted. So, all right, let's take a look at what's going on. So no trades today. We'll go back out to the main screen and see what's going on. Activision, I missed that. Let's check out one last thing on Activision. Okay, Kramer was talking about this early. Activision's kind of the anti-GameStop, right? So they crushed earnings and going long there, up 10%. So anyhow, nice move. Not going to hop into the name. But okay, Activision's up 10%. We have Sony up 5%. Take-Two Interactive, that's how these names travel together. When you have one that's popped up significantly, drags the others with it. Have Bitcoin up a couple percent to around 38,000. Gilead is another drug company we didn't talk about today, but Gilead, Regeneron, and BioNTech have been the big three horsemen of biotech for a long time, but they're kind of overshadowed by the vaccine stocks today. Okay, a lot of names in the green. 56% now for Luckin, falling off a cliff. All right, you got Workhorse down 4%, Fubo off a bit, some psychedelic names. Marijuana selling off a little bit. I want to pull the MJ chart because it's just had such a great move. So again, back here, this was Monday. It was down here below 19 when Monday started, and it's up in the mid 20s now. So mid to low 20s, if you will. So nice move up this week in the marijuana theme. Okay. All right. Let's go over to the 54. Let's see. There's a comment here. AMC some business later today. All right. The marksman. Well, they've been, the comment for those that can't see the chat window is that AMC's been in and out of bankruptcy talks, if you will, right? But no, they have, I think they got 910 million, something like that, that's going to help shore them from going out of business. But when you really look at this stock, I want to say it was down at $2. Yeah, down at $2 not too long ago. I guess I went in too far here. This is January, so you have a stock that's sitting at $2 for most of January, and then it pops up to a high of 25.8 and then comes back in. So kind of ridiculous. What's the right stock price? I don't know. It's probably somewhere around the $4 range. That seems right now that they have their big funding. So all right, let's move over to this IRS form, which is one of the most confusing forms out there. And anybody who's got an individual retirement account is affected by this. So the 5498 is simply a housekeeping form. What I mean by that is it's not something that you get in the mail and you wait for to file your taxes, like the W-2s, 1099s, all of those things. You are waiting on them. And then as soon as you have everything you need, you file your taxes. Well, if you wait for a 5498, you will not get one. A 5498 is done after you file your taxes, and it is simply recording the amount of information that you contributed to your IRA. So you can see it right here for contribution information. Now, so the reason it can't come out before you file your taxes is because it doesn't know what you're going to contribute. You have all the way to the tax day every year to contribute to your IRA. So with that, you may actually file in February as soon as you can, because you like to get your taxes done. So good on you. But then you end up later, even after you file, you can turn around and contribute more to your IRA. Say you get a bonus check or something, you're like, well, crap, I should do that. Well, it may or may not affect your taxes. You may have to do a 1040X to amend your taxes, which I have done. 1040Xs, it's very easy. Everybody's like, oh, freak out, you got to amend your taxes. It's actually a very easy process. But the 5498 doesn't even come out until afterwards, because it takes into account what you actually contributed. And again, your brokerage produces this. So if you're with Schwab or TD Ameritrade, you will get notification, or you'll get this in the mail, that you contributed this, X amount to your IRA in this year. Now, for most people who are doing just a traditional IRA, Or if you're a Roth only type person, it's pretty straightforward. Where you really need to keep the 5498 is if you're doing a backdoor Roth IRA, because this is going to tell you how much money you put in, and when you go back and prove that you don't owe taxes on all of this, is you need this information, because if you made non-deductible contributions, then you are not taxed when you make the conversion. So if you're falling asleep there, do all that kind of crazy talk, there's a fine line there. So if you're working with me, give me a call when you figure this out. But you definitely need to throw these forms in your taxes after, even though they came out after you filed. So required to be sent by June 1. So again, the year following. So this June of 2021, you will get the form 2020, or you'll get the form 5498 from 2020. So anyhow, that's how that works. If you blow that form off, it is a bear when you try to go back and prove your non-deductibility. So just have that, keep that in mind, if you will. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. So sorry I didn't get a trade in this morning, but overall, again, the market's holding in the green, which would be a nice 4 to 5 day move up off last week. So with that, I'm going to let you go. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.